Hey you guys, I am super excited today about today's video. We are talking about horse property, specifically on the east side of Colorado Springs proper. We are in Calhan. So today I have Ty with me. She is a realtor and she does a lot of horse property. She actually has her own acreage, land out here on the east side, and these are her horses.
There's Buck and Scarlet, and I've had them for about 3 years now.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about this area.
Right where we're at is close to Yoder. We're in the zip code of Calhan, but we're actually closer to Yoder. It's a small town that's out going east from Colorado Springs, about 30-minute drive.
Yeah, it took me about 30 minutes to get here, so it's way out in the sticks. Like if you are wanting to live a quiet life, I mean there's a road back here, it's kind of loud that now that I said quiet life, there's trucks driving by. But this is a really nice place if you are into country living. You want to get some acreage, perhaps build some land. Put property on it. So
there's a lot of land out here. I would say there's a lot of 40-acre plots for around $60,000. And as far as I know, to build a well, it's anywhere between $15,000 and $60,000. Yeah.
So $50,000 to $60,000 to get the land. But do you guys have property out here that already have like septic and well and all that?
Some do. You just have to check the listings, and some already have a well built on it. Some have livestock wells. And in our little neighborhood here in Tanner Ranch, they build you the well that you share with your neighbor.
Oh, nice. Okay, so in this video we're talking about horse property. So tell me a little bit about your horses, how you maintain them, just a lot of like the legal parts of it, like how much acreage you have to have per horse, how much you spend per month, things like that.
All right, so I got my horses from the Harmony Equine Center that's out in Franktown. And to get a horse, it depends. If you want a horse that's already trained, rideable, then they're about like $3,000, $4,000. But if you want a horse that you can train, like I got here, Buck was only $250, and then Scarlet was about $500, and we're currently training them with one of my neighbors who is a trainer, and so that's really exciting and fun if you want to learn how to train horses. So to maintain a horse, I would say they eat about $250 worth of hay a month. And
each or individually?
Together.
Okay.
Together. And it all depends on hay prices too, if they go up and down. Yeah, I would say, and then to do the farrier where they get their hooves trimmed is about $100 every 4 months. So I would say unless they need shots every year.
Okay.
Which isn't too much, it's about $200. And besides that, I don't think it's very much maintenance for a horse.
Now, I always see like in movies and stuff like that, like those Hallmark movies specifically, where they go to this small country like this, place like this, and they're always like brushing horses. Like, is that something you have to do like every day, all day?
You don't have to do it, but that helps them bond with you for sure.
Oh,
anytime you're brushing them, if you're kind of going up to them, breathing in their nose, petting them, walking with them, and they bond with you a lot quicker if you're doing that. And also, one reason you have to brush your horse if you're riding your horse is because they can roll in the dirt and the mud, and they can get rocks and stuff, or anything on their fur, and then if you put the saddle on, it's going to rub and it's going to wear against their back, so you don't want to do that.
Yeah. So you obviously ride these horses. Where do you guys go? You just go like around the neighborhood, or you just stay in here?
We just stay in here since our horses aren't very trained.
Okay,
They're
yeah,
green
makes
robe.
sense.
So Buck here, we can ride him, but he doesn't really know the commands yet. So we pull on the side, and he doesn't really know which way to go, so we're teaching him that. And Scarlet, she is too green. We get on her sometimes, but we usually take her to the round pen to train with her because she's kind of unpredictable. And she's 12 years old. We don't know her history of what happened, but she seems really afraid of anyone with a cowboy hat.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
And so she's approaching her. She kind of likes to walk away, and she'll stay there when there's food around. But if you kind of walk up to her, she'll be like, nope,
Oh,
backing up.
yeah. Good thing I didn't wear my cowboy hat because I was like, man, I should have brought a cowboy hat. And
Then she would have ran away from you.
Yeah. Okay, so anything else that people would need to know about buying horse property out here? So you can get land for about, you said 68,000-ish. Put in your well. Did we talk about septic?
No.
So how much is that?
I think you have to see what kind of soil you have first. And so like here we have a bunch of clay soil, and I think they have to bring in other dirt to fill it in
Okay.
because of how the soil is. So you'd have to get a soil test before you can figure out what kind of septic you need, and that can increase the prices depending on how much dirt they have to bring in. And our soil here is really hard and clay, so it gets wet and then it just solidifies.
Yeah, it gets
So
hard.
it's super hard. And yeah, and I also noticed when it's raining too, so I planted some new trees around here. And even when it rains, it only goes like that deep into the soil, unless it rains a lot.
So in our next video, we'll talk about pros and cons of living out here. So make sure that you're subscribed, but we'll be talking about like the way that you would probably navigate around those kinds of things, because I did see some farm land irrigation stuff on the way over here. So if you're wanting to live an off-grid lifestyle, we'll have to work out those kind of nuances as far as growing crops or whatever you want to do.
As far as I understand, you need 1 acre per horse. So then if you want more than 1 horse, you're gonna have to get more than 1 acre of property. If you're thinking about adopting a horse, there are so many shelters around here. There's one, the Colorado Horse Rescue Network, that's about 10 miles east in Rush, I believe. And then there's the Harmony Equine Center. I should really remember what these ones are.
That's okay. We'll put the links in the description box underneath this video so you can check out those rescues yourself. And is it hard to maintain a horse? Like you had mentioned that they were kind of playful, like puppies.
They are like big puppy dogs. And Buck, this one here, if he's not eating, he will follow you around everywhere.
Aww.
So yeah, they're really sweet, and each one has their own personality. Like he loves people, loves to be around people, and then Scarlett, like he says, more reserved, and she'll kind of come up to you if she gets to know you. And I think that's one thing that I didn't know before I got horses was how much they had different personalities. Like when I was young, my grandma just let us ride horses and never really taught us about their personalities or about them. And then so getting my own, it was like, wow, they're so interesting, such interesting animals.
Yeah. So is this the first time you've ever had horses?
Yep, on my own, the first time I went horses.
Okay, so I've always thought it was like kind of intimidating that they were going to be like $10,000 to get a horse, and that they just took a lot of work to take care of. You had mentioned before we started recording about you have to have this shed, right, for the horses? If you adopt.
Yeah, if you adopt a horse from a rescue, then you're required to have a shelter. I also know some people who don't have shelters for their horses, and they just have them out in the elements.
Okay.
However, I would suggest that you get a shelter.
Yeah.
Just because when it's raining and everything, they like to go in there.
Or when it's hailing.
And it's too hot, they sometimes hang out there in the shade.
Yeah. All right, so what about other animals like cattle? Can you have, like on your lot specifically, cattle, or like what kind of animals can you have?
Well, if you don't have an HOA, like my area here has an HOA, but if you don't, you can have whatever animals you want.
Really?
Cows,
So I could
chickens,
have a cow?
pigs. Yep, I know tons of people have pigs out here. They have chickens,
Yeah.
they have goats. Pretty much any kind of animal that you want. You can have out here.
Alpacas. I see
Yep,
a lot of
alpacas,
those.
llamas. There's an alpaca farm 20 miles north there. So.
Wow, that's so cool. But you have to have a certain amount of space for these animals, or?
Yeah, I believe you do, and most of the lots out here I think are like 35, 40 acres, unless you're in a development like us. So we only have 2.5 to 3.5 acres in our development.
Okay. So yeah, just researching all of that stuff and making sure that you have the right things that you need, the right amount of, I'm sure there's regulations somewhere online. We'll find those for you and we'll put those in the description below. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today. Super excited about learning more with Ty Manavong and the horse properties. And if you are looking for horse property specifically here, we can definitely help you out. I'll leave her information as well. And my number is always everywhere, my information below. So thank you guys. See you next week.
Thanks.